What is up, YouTube land? And we're so excited to maybe be finishing Callisto Protocol today, because this game is a game.
I'd like to. There's not enough for like 2 segments, but I really don't want to like
have a super long sit down. The reason we're doing it today, I mean, this isn't going to matter at all, because I think today's like the January 19th or something like that, and we already have videos up the whole way to the beginning of February. But today is a snow day. It's the second snow day we had in a week. So I didn't open the store because...
Midtown, isn't that apt for this game?
Oh yeah, it is Midtown. Because quite frankly, it wouldn't have been worth it. It's one of those times where it's like, yeah, could we get there? Yes. Would we be super ultra bored all day? And then at the end of the day, we would have to spend like an hour cleaning the floor because of all the salt and stuff?
Yeah.
Yes. The floor is already... I hate it. I hate this time of year for it. No matter what we do to the floor, and we're not gonna like super hardcore, quote-unquote, professionally clean it, because then the very next day it's just gonna be like awful again.
Yeah, as soon as it snows, it's just gonna be that bad.
Yeah, or even just walking in the next day is gonna be, you know, it doesn't even have to be like extra snow. It's just there's salt everywhere, and it's just awful. So yeah, today we're off, and it's earlier than normal. It's actually light out. Which it hasn't been light out for LPs for, like, months.
Yeah, because it goes dark by, like, 5.
During the summer, we usually start at either 6 or 8 p.m., depending on what day it is. And during the summer, even when we start at 8, sometimes it's, like, still, like, for an hour, which is pretty cool. And the opposite of this game. Got him. Get it?
I get it.
Were they? Wait, go back.
What?
That park bench, or that bench?
Were.
Or where? Oh, where are they?
I guess.
I thought it just said, were they? And I was like, were they what? General store.
Yeah, we're in, like, some weird shanty town, like, on the surface, I guess, or I don't know if we're down below the surface, but there's a colony here. I guess, like, I thought...
Just like where homeless people were, because of the shanty town?
I guess?
It looks like everything's made out of, like...
It looks like...
things you find in the trash.
Yeah,
you know,
it looks like scrap in Cyber Frontier.
Yeah, exactly, like scrap, yeah.
But, like, this was... Like, this Callisto is being terraformed by the UGS, the United Jupiter something. So, like, why would there be, like, a shanty homeless town? And, like... a high-profile thing that probably costs literal billions, if not trillions of dollars.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure they did this specifically for the lore, but like...
Yeah, but like...
America is the most wealthy country in the world, right? And there's still like a billion people living.
Yeah, but how would like homeless people get to Jupiter?
Okay, that's fair.
Jupiter's moon.
That's fair. Maybe they were workers and then they were laid off, and they're like, I guess we're on, like, so this just happened today, and I'm not sure of the whole story, but, Trev, you know the magazine Sports Illustrated?
Yeah.
They just today laid off their entire staff, just out of nowhere. Because apparently there was, like, some sort of, like, payment they had on, like, the publishing rights or something like that they missed, whether purposefully or not. So they literally let go and I don't know how many people still work at Sports Illustrated. Obviously, they still have, like, online presence and whatever, but just let go all thousands. It has to be thousands of people still there. And they just let them all go. So
That's
imagine if that was Jupiter, and you'd be like... How do we get back to Earth? Oh, we're not leaving for like a while.
Hi. By the way, if you ever see those weird grabs that they just let go... Oh, I shouldn't have shot. I have all the QTEs. There's a setting in settings to have all the QTEs autocomplete. So that's...
So instead of like mashing X or whatever...
Yeah.
That's fair. I think nobody...
QTEs suck.
Yeah, it's not as, like... I think when they were most bad was the late 2000s. Obviously after Resident Evil 4, and they got in everything, but... I beat a game where the final boss was a QTE. It literally just was like 7 or 8 QTs in a row. Dying Light, which actually was kind of a fun game. That's that zombie game where it's all about parkour and such. And I played that online with a bunch of friends, like co-op. So that was fun because I played it online. But the final boss is literally just a QTE fest. It's quite literally you do like 8 QTEs and then it's over.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god.
There's a setting for auto dodge too, but I do not have that turned on. Dodging in this game is really simple. You just weave left and right. But auto QTEs, yes sir, I will take that.
Yeah. I feel like that's not even like, and I don't know what word, like, not cheating, because it's a setting in the game, but kind of cheating yourself out of the experience. You know how, like, you can play a game like God of War on, like, story mode? Wherein, like, you, like, I think Spider-Man 2 has it as well, where you legitimately cannot die.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, like, I get it. I play stuff on normal, and I'm not a tryhard. I don't like Dark Souls, I don't like any of that kind of stuff. But I feel at some point you take enough away from the game where you're like, I'm not even playing the game, so just go watch the cinematics on YouTube. But
yeah, genuinely, it's like there's people that like are like, give me an easy mode or let me just play through the game. It's like, why don't you just watch it on YouTube then? You clearly don't want to interact with the game.
And you know the funny part is, I don't want to say a lot, but at least some of those people are actual game reviewers.
That's the majority of journalists.
People who literally's job is to play a game and tell people if it's good and why it's good, are like, oh, can you make a setting where I can't die in Resident Evil 4 remake? Like, come on, man. There's definitely tryhards out there. Like, people would look down on me for playing, like, I played Spider-Man 2 on, like, normal, because I was like, dude, I'm not going to spend 100 hours dying over and over again. I just want to have fun, right? And,
there's the two extremes of both of them.
Yeah, and for some people, having fun is dying over and over again in a game, I guess. But not for me. But, yeah, at least I don't get paid as my job to write about games and then be like, where is the accessibility setting on Bloodborne? Oh, but just to finish off that thought, in my opinion, turning off something like QTEs is literally whatever, because what do you need to show the game you can mash X? If you get this far in the game, you can mash X. I think the only games where I give a pass to QTEs would be like Resident Evil 4, because it really started them. It might not have been the first, but it was the first to really popularize
some of
it.
the QTEs that are integrated to gameplay are like fine, but like, you know, the QTEs where it's like mash A to escape the boulder, it's like, you know, it's a novelty at the time, because it was like one of, if not the first game to really do it.
Yeah.
But even after your first playthrough, you're like, I get it.
And I think
and
God
then
of
20
War...
years later, it's like, I get it!
Yes. Yeah, the PS2 God of War games also had pretty neat QTEs. It was usually to, like, finish off a boss. So, like, you already fought it the whole way, and then
stealth is over for the rest of the game.
Let's go! But yeah, there's a few. I gotta be honest, I'm surprised when I play a game nowadays and it has a QTE, right? Like, it's kind of like... surprising. This guy seems okay.
He's fine. You good, bro? Okay.
What was that?
What? Why did he just die in 2 hits?
Danny? Danny!
I swear there's like almost nothing to explore here, but I'm just gonna double check this door. Okay, there's definitely an enemy. Okay.
I just thought about it. Jacob is literally the great descendant of Little Mac from Punch-Out, because he weaves and jukes real good.
Hey, at least that means that Little Mac got with a tall Amazon to level his genes out.
I guess that's, yeah. I guess over the end, like, what year does this game take place, or like roughly? Is this like a 3000 kind of thing, or is it like 200 or something like
I
that.
have no idea.
It doesn't really matter. But over the course of, we'll say several generations. You know what? That's in my headcanon now. Jacob is Little Mac's descendant. And I'm okay with that. Or maybe the,
I went into here for nothing and got a health pickup because I lost health from that guy.
maybe if you're like, no, Little Mac is too pure, then the guy from Super Punch-Out, which I don't think is Little Mac. Yeah, I mean, he's not.
He's
small.
definitely not Little Mac.
Yeah. Just whatever the main character from Super Punch-Out is. Hello. Fat guy. I bet he has more HP.
For some reason, that other one had 1,000,000 HP. That guy died in
nothing,
3
yeah.
hits. Man, there's so much stuff in here that's like, oh, here's your generic allure audio log.
There's some.
Do you know that there's a virus going around? You know that UGC's bad?
There's some tropes that I don't mind, and in fact like seeing. The fat guy equals more health is one that I give a thumbs up to.
It's
every
always
time.
funny, yeah.
It's like, what aren't there enemies in like Left 4 Dead, like big fat guys that are like one of the strongest in the game, or at least the most tanky? And it's like, even though there's really no basis in reality because a big muscle guy should have more life than a big fat guy, I'm still like, don't care, thumbs up. Any game that has a big fat guy. I mean, hey, even Punch-Out did it. Even original Punch-Out, King Hippo, you can't actually normally attack him until you knock his pants down.
Yeah. Yeah, that fight sucks, but it is kind of funny.
Did you see the Summoning Salt video where he essentially did a video on himself?
Yeah.
I just love it because he's a big Punch-Out speedrunner.
I think he deserved it. He didn't do it immediately.
No, it like got into it. And I mean, I gotta be like, if I was like the world record holder in Resident Evil 3, I'd be like, world record history. And then this guy came out of nowhere. Wheezy Scorcho was his name.
I remember watching a Super Mario Sunshine like speedrun history video. You know, it's just like, it's not made by Summoning Salt, but it's made by very clearly inspired by those videos.
Like Easy Escape or
and
whatever.
then eventually it got to him being like, I was the world record holder for a while. It's like, oh, okay, that's why you made this stupid video.
It's definitely fine in Summoning Salt's thing because it's literally like the 50th video of that he did, and he did a video before on what's that guy's name? Matt Turk.
Matt Turk, and he didn't mention himself at all.
At all, yeah. So like, I am 100% fine with that. My favorite part of any Summoning Salt video.
Whoa, what is going on? Dude?
Is how after a while into it, when they explain the game and like stuff starts and whatever, they'll be like, and the record stood for 12 months until a little unknown streamer, Poop My Butt 69 420 appeared, and it's like, but he says it like just straight up, and the names are always like so hilarious. Sonic Guy 12369, and it's like, tell me more about Sonic Guy 12369. Oh man, that's good. That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Das gut. So I'm gonna get I picked up the assault rifle schematic, and on a whim, I was just like, I never used this assault rifle. I'm just gonna use it, and it's actually pretty good.
Bros, speaking of The Rock, I gotta say, I'm just generally disappointed with like him or his like team or whoever's in charge of him. He's not bad by any means.
He's just only in bad movies.
No, it's not even that. It's that he's so safe in the things he says and does that it becomes unbelievably boring. Like, I don't want him to come out there and be like, I hate this group of people, or I'm gonna get drunk and do stupid stuff. But, like, he is so unbelievably, like, PC. It's like, alright, is this dude literally getting ready to run for president? Like, it's like at that point. He did this thing. You know that guy on YouTube, Penguin Zero, aka Moist Critical, the short guy with the long hair. No, really, he has like 15 million subs or whatever. Anyway, he did this video on The Rock where he showed that The Rock on 3 separate occasions made social media posts where he said it was his first time having In-N-Out. You know, the burger stand, the burger place in the West Coast. And he's like, why? What's the point of this? And it wasn't him, like, being like, oh, it's been a while since I had In-N-Out. Like, he made this, like, big deal to be like, first time ever had In-N-Out. It's just, wow, like, I can't believe it. And literally, he just, like, it's within, like, 2 years of each other. It's like, first time I had it. And it's like, what is the purpose, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson?
So, one real quick thing.
Yeah, sorry.
You only have 2 weapons in this game. You have the side-mounted gun that you can see, it's on his shoulder, or his right leg. And you have the pistol that's on his back. But when you change to the assault rifle, he literally takes the same stock that's with the shotgun and equips a different attachment.
Ah.
It's a little cool detail.
That is cool.
When I want to give this game praise, I got to give it praise.
Yeah. We try to be as fair as possible. I mean, almost every game I play on this channel is awful, but I try to give it, like, positives.
And I think when you have the tactical pistol, it's the same thing, where he'll, like, unequip the stock on the handgun, and then equip a different thing, but you should never get the tactical pistol, because it is junk.
So just to finish on the Rock stuff real quick, so in one of those videos he made, he like, got it from the drive-thru and then went home or whatever, and was like, first time ever having it, bros, even though, like I said, it was proven, it was, like, the 3rd time, minimum, and probably more. It's the 3rd time on social media he's had it, and he was like, you know what drink pairs really well with this? A tequila would. And he was like, oh, I have this brand tequila. Oh, I happen to be part owner of it, and it, you know, it really goes well with this. And I'm like, stop shilling for 1 second.
Yeah, The Rock is probably worth like $10 million or something.
Oh, it has to be more than that. 100 million or whatever. But yeah, like, literally he was like, oh, I think my friends at In-N-Out Burger, this looks really good, but what pairs with it really well? And he was like, what about the tequila? Oh, I happen to be part owner of this. I'm like, I hate capitalism so much. Can you stop shilling for 1 second of your entire life? And the answer is no. You cannot. Alright, I'm ready for this story. There was something in her neck that Jacob took out.
I tried to protect you. You didn't deserve this. Get away from me!
Okay.
Good?
You sure? You don't seem okay.
I was in their mind. Reliving their memories.
Oh, so she did that on purpose.
Yeah, apparently those the neck link things, you can literally just attach a USB cord from each one and like relive their memories.
They killed everyone.
That's interesting thing that we find out 80% through the game.
Yeah, and all that Dani uses for it is to be like, I knew what the colonists went through. Okay.
Wait,
That's it.
she literally said, I couldn't save you, I'm sorry. And then she said it was 75 years ago?
Because she literally, she was confused. She literally thought she was the colonist at that moment.
Oh, okay. Hey, buddy. Oh, do you get a dual fight, or is she just on the ground?
No, she's on the ground.
Ah.
Well, I thought I had. I guess I only had 20
You know,
minutes.
this is in terms of the gameplay, this is a resource management type game, but
Kind of.
I gotta be honest, the dodging is too easy.
It is quite easy.
Like, it's not like, you know in certain games you have to, like, perfect dodge or whatever? Oh, you know what a great example is? Resident Evil 3 Remake. How they have that really good dodge, but you have to, like, time it perfectly. That's not really what I'm seeing with this. I'm not playing it myself, but unless you're, like, the absolute god gamer...
It's super easy. Yeah, I mean, I'm...
Better than average on this, of course, but you haven't put, like, dozens of hours into it or whatever to get to the point of being like, I never get hit because I just dodge every attack. It just seems a little too easy.
Yeah, the only thing they have to like pay attention to is that sometimes you gotta weave in and out. Because we try to like dodge left and then left, you'll get hit. But for this, I can hold either direction. It's completely fine. You good, bud?
Thanks for waiting. He was like, just waiting for my friends. That first half of them died so easily.
Yeah, I noticed that there used to be a tech that you could do where you sort of like shot his just right head, and then when they go down the first time, you can go and then melee his left head, and then you'll trick the game into having them cut off their left head, and then the right head will have less health.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure they fixed that.
That makes sense.
It doesn't seem to work anymore.
I was hoping for a fight you could do with Dani.
No. Of course not.
Not even, it's coming. It's like, no. How are they gonna separate this time?
You'll see.
Do you want my controversial opinion of this part? Unless you consider me saying Dwayne Johnson is annoying to be controversial. You ready? Dead Space 3 is not as bad as people make it out to be. Is it as good as Dead Space 1 or 2? No, absolutely not. But is it like, oh, killed a franchise, worst game ever? No. I beat it twice at this point. Over the course of a couple, like I played it when it came out, then I played it like 5 years later. And it really isn't that bad. I played it single player, I didn't play co-op. But I don't know. It's just one of those games that gets like unnecessary hate. Is there some hate that should come its way? Absolutely.
The one thing that I really disagree with is that if the game had to be co-op, and you know that was an EA mandate,
right,
to show online, what they should have done is done Isaac and Ellie, not Isaac and generic bro guy.
I forget the guy's name.
I hated that decision.
I'll call him
so
Marcus
much.
Marcus Phoenix.
Ellie, or is it Ellen or Ellen? Maybe I forget.
I think it might be Ellie. It's
been
a while.
I think it's Ellie, but they should have made it Isaac and Ellie.
That makes sense.
Don't have Mick Dude Guy. Oh, this is how they get separated, by the way.
Yay!
Convenient.
Very convenient. But it was a shanty town, so everything's broken now. But a second ago, when you were fighting 600-pound monsters, it was okay.
And not only is Mick Dude Guy just like generic, he's also a dumb butt. Like, I hate him so much. He's basically the exposition excuse character to be like, hey Isaac, what's going on? I don't understand what's going on.
Right.
And then Isaac's like, well, you know, the marker and the necromorphs.
Oh, they have a term
like, dude, it's Dead Space 3.
Right. They have a... Did EA literally expect people to just pick up a game called Dead Space 3 without playing the first two? And just
They
being
are
like,
so stupid, yes. And totally yes.
That's just so weird. Like, even, there's some examples where it's not so bad, like God of War Ragnarok. I've had people be like, should I play God of War before? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. Because the story takes place, like, right after it. But, like, that's a legitimate question. But if someone's like, should I play Dead Space 2 before Dead Space 3? It's like, if you want to get the story, yeah. Like, I don't... Should I watch... No, that's a bad example.
Yeah. It's like everything about it. It's just like Dead Space 3, they expected it to like ship like 5 million units,
right,
which was like double how much Dead Space 2 sold. It's like, what are you smoking?
Yeah, clearly stupid. But if Dead Space 1 and 2 are like 9 or 10 out of 10 games, depending on which one you prefer, and, you know, at worst, Dead Space 1 or 2 is like an 8 out of 10 game, Dead Space 1 or 2. Dead Space 3 is like a 6, maybe a 7 if you're feeling nice. But people act like it's a literal 2 out of 10 worst game ever.
No, it definitely
it's
isn't. It's really disappointing.
Yeah. I can agree with that. I want to make it clear I'm not saying, I just said it's not a 10 out of 10, but man, people are like, kill the series, kill the franchise, worst thing ever. But then again, I also hold the unpopular opinion that E.T. for Atari is not the worst game ever made, because I've probably played on this channel... If I said I played 100 games that are worse than E.T., would that be an overstatement with all the Let's Tries we do?
Yeah.
at least 50, right?
Especially when you got to give it some 2600 like leeway.
Right. But I
But-
mean, how many original Game Boy games did we play that were so bad that I would rather play ET for like
Yeah.
if a span of 30 minutes?
ET was obviously just like a culmination of years
Right.
of disappointing like basic games that were like sold on false advertising. And like ET is not the worst game. ET's not even the worst game on the 2600. ET wasn't even the worst game probably released that month. But it was just like more of a landmark thing more than anything.
Yeah. No, I've played some Atari 2600 games that you're like, what is this? It's always the ones where they made things too complicated. Like, I think it's a cool idea, but that Raiders of the Lost Ark game is like, how are you supposed to play this? How are you supposed to know to use 2 controllers? How are you supposed to know to do literal anything? Back then, if you had the manual, it would say use 2 controllers, but how can you know anything else
Yeah,
beyond that?
Especially like they can tell you the controls, but
They're not
unless
going to tell you how to beat the
unless
game.
there's literally a walkthrough, it's like there's some moments that are just like, do you know that you can go to a different screen by walking down slowly on a controller with a digital input that doesn't have slow? So therefore you just have to stutter step and you have to know that that's something different.
No, I did not know that. Also, all the PS1...
I care about lore.
Also, all the PS1 Let's Tries we did, there's probably a good 30 or 40. I would honestly rather play E.T. than some of these early PS1 3D games. Or, like, half of these freaking awful 2D fighters, 2D and 3D fighters that are, like, the worst games of all time. That's just me.
Dr. Muller's exposition's still going in the cutscene because it just ran past it.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So the lore of this game is this pathogen is just from this thing they found. That's it.
So literally they were drilling or terraforming and then...
Yeah, they found this thing. I think it was already dead, but it had a live larva and it had the biophage pathogen in it.
Yep, there we go.
And then it mutated, guys. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This was Jacob's shipment. Uh-oh, there was something hidden underneath it.
Are those the larvae? Uh-oh. Biohazard, do not open. I'm gonna open this.
And luckily it has this weird, like, viewing glass. That's convenient. Hey,
Here we go.
Remember this guy from 3 hours ago?
At least 3 hours ago. And this guy's supposed to be the second to biggest bad guy. Would you consider this guy to be the main bad guy or the warden?
I mean, this is the deadly force.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But the warden's definitely the mastermind, obviously. And would you believe that the fight is literally just the same thing we've been doing for a million years now?
What?
I just want to get that ammo, dude. It's not gonna let me.
So I forget, it's been a long time. He is infected by those larvae or whatever, or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Captain Ferris is exhibiting the same symptoms as Subject Zero, where he's kind of retaining his consciousness and personality.
Looks like
Literally, stop looking at Danny for 2 seconds when that happens.
she was just trying to help you, but soon she'll be one of us.
Why couldn't we have more of this story, like, throughout the game and not just, like... We literally
The last
we
sit
went
down.
2 hours between cutscenes.
Yeah.
2 hours.
The last sit down was an hour of literally a dark cave.
Luckily, like I said on the description of it, luckily we have pretty good commentary, because if you're just sitting there watching someone, you'd be like, I actually cannot.
The only thing I could possibly imagine is that there's no way that the development team was like, this is a good part. This is a good section. I'm going to assume that this game was very different, and when they had to cut out the PUBG story, at the end they were just like dissecting this game, and at the end it's just like, here's your hour-and-a-half cave section with no dialogue. That has to be it. That's the only way I can possibly cope about it.
I mean, they wanted this to... I mean, everyone does, but they wanted this to start, like, a Callisto Protocol universe.
We're gonna stick to the plan. We're gonna get to the Warden's Tower. There's gotta be a way to reverse this.
You don't know that.
No, I don't. We're not gonna give up now. We're gonna finish this thing together.
Way to take, like, a minute to pull a gun away from a girl who weighs, like, 150 pounds less than you, Jacob.
Also, Jacob loves Dani now, despite her being a jerk the entire game.
I want this... I want them to be shipped. That's the word, right?
A plank of wood shipped with Dude McGuy.
So you hand back the gun, and instantly she just puts it to her head and shoots herself. Good. Got it.
Dani is like the worst of both worlds because she's a girl boss, but she doesn't do anything.
Right.
She has the personality of a girl boss, but she actually doesn't do anything and just constantly jobs.
Well, I mean, you literally were paying attention to Captain Ferris for, like you said, less than 5 seconds. And then she was dying, and it's like, okay. That's worse than, like, escort missions, like EE from MGS2 and stuff like that. At least she doesn't die in, like, 5 seconds. That feel when we can't... There's no more I guess we could do MGS3. I was gonna say, there's no more MGS games we can do.
Yeah, I'll probably do MGS3 someday, but it won't be this year at all.
MGS Ghost Babel for Game Boy Color.
Actually, I might just do when Delta comes out. I might just do that, because, I mean, you're not going to play it, probably.
No, probably not, unless it's like... No, probably not. It's just the end. I am going to play Silent Hill 2 Remake. I am going to play Final Fantasy VII Part 2. We got 6 weeks for that, I think, about. Just about. It's hard to believe.
Oh.
Hey, remember these? No, wait, is this the same game? Wait, am I thinking of the same game?
Oh my god, they got knocked out in 5 seconds.
Yeah, this is the one where you fought like 2 of them,
Yeah.
and if they shot you, you instantly exploded?
Yeah.
Cool. This is me pulling my kids to bed. But also up the stairs. Clunk, clunk, clunk. I'm kidding. No, CPS!
So we just made another circle to the beginning of the game. This is literally
Wow.
the cell that you start the game in. But we've already made a circle before, so this is the second circle we've made, where we go from the cell, come back to the cell, then we went in a bigger circle,
What was the
now we're
first
back in the
one?
cell. It's when you go down to, like, solitary, and then you go through, like, the poop sewers, and then it ends up that you just, like, are back in the tower because you have to go somewhere else.
Got it.
There's not much time. I was able to reroute one of the security units. I have Dani.
Where is she?
The lab.
Where is she?
He's monitoring everything, but we can talk here. I can get you to the warden. I can cure her. I want to help.
Yo, do that thing where you break the door by pulling a ribbon cable.
Please.
No
Must
box. We have to
hurry. Find me, Jacob.
wait for Dr. Mauler to do
There's
stuff.
a room ahead that connects to an area normally off limits.
Hey, remember Elias? That guy was kind of cool.
Find it.
Elias was cool.
It's really a shame that he died, like, halfway through the game, and then there's no one left.
I mean, that's the problem with having a horror game where you expect people to die and then having your only good actual character dying.
There's like 5 characters in this game. They killed one of them. Okay, so another FU for this game. I'm just gonna open this because just check pointed. But all the things that they do from now on are all these bait things.
Wow.
And there's like 3 of them, and all of them are booby trapped. And it's like, why? It's like, I bet people at this point were probably like being like, man, this game kind of stinks. And then you have all these, like, the only cool thing about this game is getting loot. and then you booby trap all the loot things.
Yeah, I purposefully would. Excuse me. I would not have wanted to spend $70 on this.
So this happened to me on my initial playthrough, and it happened again. I don't know how. I don't know if it's me abusing checkpoints or something. But in my inventory, I have an extra fuse I'm not supposed to have. So I could completely skip 2 sections of this game. So I'm not supposed to have this fuse.
Wow.
And I don't know exactly when it happened. I don't know if it's me abusing checkpoints or if something happened. But this, if I went through this door here, I would literally skip a 2-head fight. But we're going to do it anyway.
Okay. That's interesting. Do you think it's because you did something good?
I don't know. It happened on my first playthrough too. So clearly they never fixed it.
Trev giving the speedrun strats. I'm certain somebody speedruns this game.
Every game in existence is speedrun.
True.
Does it still have a speedrunner? I'd be very surprised at that. But I bet the first month or two there's speedruns.
I mean, people speedrun that,
What?
People speedrun that Bite Kaidos game that takes, like, 200 hours to beat. So, yeah. Also, they do that PS1 Yu-Gi-Oh! Game that takes several hundred hours to
People
to
love
beat.
that game, and that game is so weird.
It looks... I don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh!, but it looks
It doesn't
boring.
even, it doesn't even like abide to the rules of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's so weird. It just makes up its own rules.
I've seen a lot of people speedrunning that game, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, people love that game.
Weird.
And like I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Like literally when I was like in middle school or something. So I know the rules of the. I don't know any of the modern rules, but I remember trying that game once, and I was like, what are these rules? You can just like pull a monster and like sacrifice a monster from your hand to summon something good the first turn. That's not how Yu-Gi-Oh! Works at all. I'm like, what is going on with this game?
Yeah, that is weird. That's like, oh man, I'm gonna sound like an idiot, but I think when you play Magic the Gathering and you pull out a monster, they have something called summoning sickness, so you can't attack on the first turn. But just imagine if you could, you know what I mean? Like, you just pull out a monster and you're like, yep, you're wiped out. I just pulled out 10 monsters, you're wiped out. I'm pretty sure they call it summoning sickness.
I think so. I don't know anything about Magic.
Me either. I've played it probably a dozen times in my life, and I don't own any cards, but... Yeah, just imagine that. You're just like, I pull this legendary monster, and you're dead. Ah, sounds pretty fun.
That's awesome.